I went out for a peaceful New Year's walk, but I never expected to come back to my own house like this. This took place on New Year's Eve. I was spending the holiday alone at home, since I'd already celebrated Christmas with my family and had no one to go out with that night. So I stayed in, had a couple of beers, and watched TV for hours. I sat through the entire Times Square celebration and then switched over to some old holiday movies. I wasn't particularly tired, and around 2 a.m., after being stuck on the couch most of the day, I felt restless and wanted to move around. I looked out the windows. It was lightly snowing, not too heavy, and even though I knew it was cold and dark outside, the idea of taking a walk sounded really appealing. I put on my jacket, hat, and gloves, then headed out to walk around the neighborhood. Almost immediately, I noticed how unusually quiet everything was. Even at 2 a.m. on New Year's, I expected parties or at least some noise. Instead, every house only had its outdoor Christmas lights glowing and not a single car passed by. The streets felt empty, strangely calm, and even peaceful. I honestly don't know how long I was out there. I wasn't completely sober, so keeping track of time was difficult. I wandered through the neighborhood without any real direction, zigzagging wherever my feet took me. Eventually, I found myself at the park. The path looked like it hadn't been shoveled since earlier that morning, but there was only about 2 inches of snow, so I decided to walk along it anyway. I figured a change in scenery might make the walk more interesting. After going a short distance, I realized the snow was getting harder to walk through, and there were no lights along the path. I'd walked there at night before, and there were usually small street lamps lining the trail. I assumed they must have been turned off for the winter. After a few minutes, I decided to turn back. As I dragged my feet through the snow, retracing my steps for about a minute, I noticed something unsettling. There was another set of footprints running right alongside mine, fresh from only minutes earlier. Someone had clearly been walking directly behind me. Honestly, it looked like I'd been followed, especially since there hadn't been any other shoe prints there before. I didn't see anyone. When I tried to figure out where they might have gone, I noticed the tracks veered off the trail and disappeared into the dark areas where I couldn't see anything. For all I knew, someone could have been standing just 10 feet in front of me, completely invisible in the pitch-black darkness. I picked up my pace to get out of there, though I still didn't fully believe it was something serious. Looking back, I admit it could have been the alcohol dulling my awareness. I may not have fully processed how strange or dangerous the situation was, especially with those footprints leading straight into the darkness. At the time, I convinced myself it was just a bizarre coincidence. I left the park and continued walking through my neighborhood instead of heading straight home. I stayed out for another 15 minutes. I wasn't really searching, but I didn't see anyone else, which made me feel like I was probably fine. When I finally got home, I took off my winter clothes and planned to take a shower, hoping it would make me tired enough to sleep. Halfway up the stairs, I suddenly realized how dark it was. The upstairs lights were off. That immediately felt wrong. I'm the type of person who leaves lights on all day, and I hadn't even been upstairs since waking up that morning. I was certain I'd left them on. Even if I had been completely drunk, I know I would have remembered that. Carefully, I climbed the last few steps, looked down the hallway, and then flipped the light switch on. I wasn't sure what I was expecting to see. I slowly walked through the hall, peeking into each room, checking if anything looked out of place. I made sure to close every door after checking, which is why my heart nearly stopped when I turned around after the last room. The first door by the stairs was wide open. That was enough to convince me someone was inside my house. I froze for a few seconds before calling out, asking if anyone was there. I was terrified to move. Whoever it was could have been in that room or could have slipped downstairs and been anywhere by then. I remember taking slow, careful steps down the hallway, my adrenaline surging and a heavy, sinking feeling twisting my stomach as I approached the doorway. Then I woke up, and this wasn't a dream. I woke up lying on the hallway floor, my head spinning, suffering from a severe migraine. Only about 10 minutes seemed to have passed, and it was clear I'd been attacked and knocked unconscious. I couldn't remember anything beyond the moments leading up to it. My vision was blurry, fading in and out. I called 911 immediately. Whoever broke in and attacked me was long gone, but I told the police everything I could remember. What still haunts me is the missing piece of my memory. I almost certainly came face to face with the attacker, maybe long enough to describe him or even recognize him. I might have known exactly who it was. But it's like my mind is deliberately hiding it from me. After that night, there were very few updates and nothing ever led anywhere meaningful. I still don't know who he was or what he truly intended, but I wouldn't be surprised if he never wanted me to wake up at all.